Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to BMDC online lecture room. This is Nirmal Waqar, your English teacher, and I welcome you all in this new online academic year. I pray that may we all be blessed with health, happiness, clarity of mind and success in this upcoming year. Let's directly move on to our syllabus. We will start with the lesson, the farewell sermon of the first unit, Vision and Mission of your second year course books. The farewell sermon, that is also known as Muhammad's final sermon or the last sermon. Now, getting into the brief history, Prophet, peace be upon him, has been declared the last apostle sent by God for the guidance of mankind. And it was through Quran, Holy Quran, that he taught us the lessons of life. So, when it comes to Quran came out in complete form through revelations. Muhammad's first revelation was the event described in Islam as taking place in 610 AC, during which the Prophet was visited by Angel Jibreel, who revealed to him the beginnings of what would later become the Quran. The Holy Prophet's prophetic career had a span of 22 years. The mission assigned to the Prophet by Almighty Allah had been, to all intents and purposes, completely by the end of his earthly life. The Prophet had declared the religion of Islam to be complete in every sense of the word. An year before his death, during the event that came to be known as Hajjatul Wida, the farewell pilgrimage to Makkah. And it was during the 10th year of migration or Hijrah that the Prophet performed the farewell pilgrimage. The Prophet was aware of his imminent death, and so he declared his intentions of performing a pilgrimage to Makkah. Letters were sent out across Arabia in which the Prophet requested that his followers accompany him in this pilgrimage. 5 days before the beginning of the month of Zil-Hajj, the Holy Prophet, along with roughly 100,000 followers, marched upon Makkah from Medina. All the wives of the Prophet, along with his closest companions, accompanied him on this great pilgrimage. It was during that pilgrimage that the Prophet delivered his farewell sermon. It was also the last time that he addressed such a large gathering of the Muslims. The farewell sermon is regarded as one of the significant events of not only the last pilgrimage but also the Prophet's life and his mission as a messenger to Allah. The sermon took place on 9th of Zul-Hajj in the Urana valley of Mount Arafah during the Islamic pilgrimage of Hajj. And as the crowd was too big, Rabah ibn Umayyah ibn Khalaf was asked to repeat the sermon after the Prophet, as he was famous for his loud voice. This sermon was one of the most inspiring sermons to be read, and even after 1400 years, the contents of this message are still powerful, intense, and relevant. The recitation of a revelation where the Almighty has chosen Islam to be the religion of the mankind is also there for the students to get to read. It teaches simplicity, humility, and equality for all. Now, getting into the salient points or the fundamental features of this sermon, we will briefly discuss all of them. First and foremost came the trust and accountability. We include the quotation words. Your lives and properties are sacred trust amongst you, so return the things to their rightful owners. What does these words describe? The Holy Prophet, through his words, informed the people that the life and property, as well as honor of each and every person, is sacred, and that one man must respect the other, and this practice should continue till the end of this world. The people present were given an indication of the sacredness of life, property, and honor in terms of the sanctity of the month of Zulhajj and the city of Makkah. He reminded people that they will be answerable to God for their deeds, be them good or bad. The second thing to be discussed is interest, riba, or sood. That is totally forbidden in Islam. Taking interest, taking extra money over another's money or property is totally forbidden in Islam. It says, interest on the loans is forbidden to you. All dues of interest shall stand cancelled, and you will have only your capital back. Now this is the time for us to speculate on ourselves. What are we up to? Are we following these rules laid by the Holy Prophet? Are we? That's up to us to judge. When it comes to the status of women or the treatment of wives, the Prophet instructed the people to be kind and affectionate towards their wives, towards the women, even if at some point of life they make mistakes. Men are supposed to be gentle while giving the penalty or the punishment too. This doesn't serve that only women have got the rights. Men have got the rights too. Women are supposed to be chaste and faithful towards them. It says, you have right over your wives, and your wives have rights over you. Remember that you took them as trust from Allah. Men have to feed and clothe them. The Prophet warned the community, the people present there, regarding Satan, and suggested not to get tempted by the schemes of Satan. He says, Satan has lost all hopes, so you never follow him in small things. Now small things can be bribery, lying, misleading someone, misguiding someone. There are lots of things. As a Muslim, you should be careful about the Satan and follow the path of righteousness. Brotherhood, bhaichara. Quotation includes, O people, listen carefully, all the believers are real brothers of each other, and that Muslims constitute to be one brotherhood. These words remind the Muslims that they have the same duties towards all the Muslims as they have towards their biological brothers, and that all the Muslims therefore are part of a brotherhood. They should respect and support each other in difficult times. Wherever they may reside or whatever race they may belong to, must not discriminate amongst each other on the basis of sect, race, or financial status. Alright. Now what do you think is the criteria of superiority of a person in Islam? Is it the beauty? Is it the financial status? No, it's not. It's the piety and submission to the rules of God. All the mankind is from Adam and Eve. There is no preference for Arabs over the non-Arabs or the non-Arabs over Arabs. A white has no merit over black and vice versa. So in order to describe these lines, we must say that in the eyes of the Almighty Allah, race is not the criteria for admission to hell or heaven. People are only divided into tribes so they could physically distinguish from one another and be easily identifiable to each other. But in front of Allah Almighty, piety and righteousness determines a person's rank and honor. The words are very clear, and they give crystal clear messages to all the Muslims. We are supposed to follow both God and His Messenger. God and His Messenger? God is Quran. The verdict of God is Quran. And Sunnah, the example laid by the Messenger. O people, I leave behind me two things, the Quran and my example Sunnah. If you follow these two, you will never fail in life. You will never get astray. When it comes to the observation or following the pillars of Islam, we know what are the pillars of Islam. Kalma, namaz, roza, zakat, hajj. The Holy Prophet instructed the people to worship God, offer prayers 5 times a day, observe fast in the month of Ramzan, pay zakat and perform hajj if they could afford. He said that those who will wholeheartedly observe the pillars of Islam will gain entrance to heaven and be rewarded with the gifts that it has to offer in the hereafter. Last but not the least, the Prophet referred himself to Khatm Nabuwat. What is Khatm Nabuwat? Nabuwat is the prophethood. Khatm Nabuwat, sealing the prophethood. So he said, O people, no prophet or messenger will come after me and no new faith will be born, will emerge. So he himself declared that he is the last prophet sent by the Almighty Allah. The Prophet reaffirmed the fact that the process of appointing prophets and messengers by the Almighty Allah has been terminated and sealed. He also gave the duty of spreading the message to the people who were present there at that time, at that moment. He said, all those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others and those to others again. He prayed that the last ones understand his words better than those who were listening to him directly. Going towards the conclusion, he also asked the people if they have understood the message. And he said, have I conveyed the message of God to you? And the pilgrims replied in one voice, in truth you have, God is the witness. That means that you have given the message to us. You have performed your duty very well. Alright girls, as we are done with the chapter itself, I assume you will be going through the chapter in your textbook, and only that way you will be able to understand it in a better way. Please go through the glossary of difficult words so you may understand it better. In our next lecture, we will be discussing the question answers. I would suggest you to please go through the chapter itself and try to evaluate your answers as well. Thank you.